It is about 10 o'clock in the morning here on Monday, September 1st, 2025. Some people call it Labor Day, but I celebrate today by working even harder. And anyway, yeah, so I'm out here in this 200-foot wide row, and I'm kind of kicking myself because when I did the tour last time, it seemed like there wasn't too much grass, but now there's tons of grass. I can probably leave the animals in here for a month and they wouldn't be able to eat it all. But my goal is to kind of move them, keep them moving. And so I'll probably just, well, maybe I'll just keep them here until Friday afternoon. Just keep them here an extra day or something like that. Break one of my rules. I think it'll be fine. Besides, the lambs probably appreciate not being bothered too much. But I'll kind of give you a tour of the grass here. So where I'm standing at right now, this is basically the middle of the field, and I'm looking north, and we're in the southern half, and that's kind of what we were dealing with, is just not good forage in this part of the pasture. And when it gets hot and dry, there's even less grass, and you can see even the goat weed's having a hard time. So I'm thinking of just paying a couple $1,000s or more and just spreading chicken litter out here. Just put something down so the grass can get a head start. I might do some more soil testing on this area, just so I understand why the grass isn't really growing here. If you're familiar with the concept of the seed bank, the idea is that inside your soil there's all kinds of seeds, and it's virtually impossible to get the seeds out of the seed bank. They're just sitting there waiting to sprout. Some of the seeds might be there 100 years before they sprout, but they're kind of waiting for ideal conditions to do so. So anyway, there's probably plenty of grass seed down there. It just needs the right conditions, and right now it's not the right conditions, so it's not sprouting. Anyway, there's the black-headed lamb. I think he was born a week ago. I caught a video of him being born like right after he dropped. Mama was still licking the sack. I didn't share that video because at the end there was another lamb that didn't make it, and I think the vultures or something got in there and cleaned out the inside of the lamb and left the skin. It was kind of gross, so I didn't want to share that with the public. But I did take it. Oh, there goes a rabbit. I did take another video that was about 10 or 20 minutes later and carefully avoided showing the lamb skin that was of the lamb that died. I don't know where that lamb came from or whose it was. It might have been born dead. Sometimes they're born dead, and I'm more than happy to let the wildlife process the dead animals, and I don't want them sticking around too long. So anyway, so this is a part where you can see there's tons of goat weed growing. But if you were to magically erase the goat weed, there'd be much more grass than in that part with no goat weed. And so that's why I say that I'd rather have goat weed and grass than no goat weed and no grass. And I think the goat weed is actually doing something positive for the pasture. It certainly isn't causing any problems. My cattle aren't getting pink eye, you know. So anyway, right now it's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Which I think is a temperature that people start dying in the UK. When it gets this hot, you guys just start passing out and having heat stroke and stuff like that. Global warming obviously is the root cause of all warm summers. You know, up until we invented the automobile and America started getting filthy rich, the whole world was cold and frozen, and then all of a sudden we discovered that we can destroy the planet by creating summer. So you can blame us for that. It's our fault there's summer in the UK. What is this stick doing over here? Let me get this stick back. Anyway, so this is the trees. You can see there's lots of grass here, hardly any goat weed. I want to go look at lambs. The Osage orange, I forget what they call them, but I've seen cattle eat these. Those are dropping. I think this is an orange tree. This is a dead one. Let's see if we can find a living one. Yeah, this tree here. This is an Osage orange tree, and it's not dead. The wood is good because it doesn't rot, so you can make fence posts out of it. It's also hard. It tears up your chainsaw. There, that's what I wanted to see. 80 degrees and 98% humidity. So what that means is that if you just stand outside, you get wet. 98% humidity. This morning was 99% humidity and 70 degrees, which frankly I don't see a big difference between 70 and 80 and that high of humidity. You're just going to get wet no matter what you do. This I believe is U11, which look at her condition. I think there's something inside there. Yeah, she's developing a little bag. She might be a couple weeks away at least, if not a month away. Oh, the sheep love the trees and the stumps and stuff. They like to eat the leaves too. So I should probably get in the habit of going through the area they're going to be at and just knocking down branches that are low so they can get extra forage. That's the raccoon one. He's got little gray patches around, she's got gray patches around her eyes. So I kept Hindungi tied up around this tree for a while. He kept coming home, so I tied him up around the tree with like a 20-foot or 30-foot rope or something like that. So this was his home for a while, and then the tree died, you know. So we're actually at the edge of the forest, the southern edge. There's no more trees until that little stand there, that stand there, and then there's a little group of trees down there a little bit more further. And then it's the end of the pasture. So I think the cool weather is nice right now. I don't know if it's going to get back up to the 90s anytime soon. Even if it does get up to the 90s, hopefully it'll be a drier 90. And so I might start doing daily rotations after this row. Twice daily rotations. I think that's what I'll do. But I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do for the future. I'm just kind of rotating blindly right now. I think what I want to do is plan out where I want them for the winter. And I think the answer is I want them in the northern half of the pasture during the winter. And, you know, if I could, I'd stick them in the middle of the pasture where the worst ground is. Just stick them there all winter long and have the manure accumulate. But that's not really an option the way I have things set up. And I need to keep them moving so they don't get parasites. So what I'll probably do is just set up and rotate in the southern half or the northern half of the pasture, probably the northwestern quarter, and just keep them rotating in that area, giving them just enough area that they can have a bale of hay, and then move them on. You know, unroll a bale of hay, maybe a bale a week, I think is what it might end up doing. And so they get half of the bale one half of the week and the other half of the week. And then I'm going to consider keeping all the calves because I need more animal units on this pasture. So I'll see how that works out. But, you know, right now is not a good time to buy animals. I've already sold all the animals I want to sell. I don't want to sell anymore, otherwise I'll only have like 5 cows. If I get rid of all the open cows, I'd only get a little bit of money for them. So I'll keep them around for their manure generating properties. That's what I'm going to do. Right, number 11. That is the weather. I keep him on the sheep so that they continually cycle. They don't. We don't get a ram effect. If they do ram effect when I introduce the rams, then I need a lot more rams. So I don't want the ram effect. Oh man, those hooves are long. Looks like they're broken actually. She broke them, so I guess they come off when they break. You know. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.